Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the SCP Sports Show. I'm your host, Sean Stewart. It is April the 11th, 2023. Great to have you on this wonderful broadcast. As we were a little bit late, but hey, at least we got the show in right now. You know what I mean? So we got a lot of stuff to do, including there's a new announcement that the Sunday ticket on YouTube TV has been announced today, which is very great news.
I would say it's good news. Um, hey, it's cheaper than what DirecTV was offering it for. Now, granted, I've been a DirecTV customer. Well, was a DirecTV customer for like 17 years, and the last 5 years that I had it, they gave it to me for free each season. So it was bittersweet at the end because they were giving it to me for free, you know. But for people that were having to actually pay for it, it's actually a good deal in a way because it's cheaper. Because DirecTV was like, if you weren't getting it for free, they were charging you like $450 for it. It was like six payments of $75. So this is a good deal in terms of if you had to pay for it. I mean, of course, there's always the good old Fire Stick bootleg-a-thon scam, you know, and watch your games through your plug kind of a thing if you got one. But I mean, it's a good deal, and if you buy it before June 6th for only $249, I mean, that's even better. I mean,
right.
I'll admit I got rid of DirecTV, okay? So we haven't had cable now for a while, but I've still figured out ways to get my sports fix on. But for football and college football, it might be a little bit more difficult. Like if I got YouTube TV, I get ESPN and all that, that's fine. But I mean, the question is, do I go to the sports bar and watch the Sunday ticket or do you splurge on the YouTube TV? Now, by getting it through June 6th, then you're bit before June 6th, you get $100 off, but then you're kind of committing to June, July, and August when you really don't need it until September. So you would be saving yourself $200. You'd be saving yourself effectively $100 if you waited until early September to get the ticket. Because you're saving $100 by doing it, but then you're subjecting yourself to 3 months of cable TV at about $200 worth. So, I mean, that's kind of what I feel about that. Is you're saving you're getting cable TV basically for those 3 months for half price, but then you're kind of paying for it. Right. I mean, it's not a bad deal, but it's a pick your poison. Like for me, my game plan for the summer is no cable. And then what I am going to do is I'm going to get Paramount TV for the summer, like the app. And I'm just going to watch Tulsa King, Mayor of Kingstown, 1923, all of that stuff. And I'm going to save myself a ton of money, and then I'll figure it out from there. Most likely, I'll just be going to the sports bar, and watching the games this season like I always do. Even though when I had Sunday ticket at home, I would still go to the sports bar. So, I mean, I think I'm okay. I don't think I need the Sunday ticket. I've got my ways. I think this country can figure it out. I
Hey,
mean, if,
at
if
least I'm
it was
we're going.
if it was $100 cheaper on the norm, I think
Mm-hmm.
people would really gravitate to it. I don't know if YouTube TV is gonna. You got to figure out ways to make money, and I don't see how you're going to get people to pay for it. I mean, this is a really interesting television experiment because you're going to see whether or not people are going to splurge for direct TV or not. I mean, for YouTube TV and what the true value of power is for this product because it's always been on direct TV and now it's going
Always.
to a competitor. The question is, how much of an increase is this going to have for YouTube TV?
And they already got NBA League Pass for those that don't know about that.
But everybody has an NFL League, NBA League Pass. Direct TV, this is an exclusive product. Now we're going to see how many people are going to make the transition and bolt over to YouTube TV.
Right. Because I definitely want to see a research on that. That should be interesting.
And then the other thing is that it looks like DirecTV is going to keep the restaurant and bar segment
Yeah.
of this business.
I didn't say that.
So I don't know how much money. I heard like 25 million or something. I don't know. Something crazy. But point is DirecTV gets the bars in the restaurants because I mean, if you think about it, right? They're paying YouTube TV paid all that money for this, right?
Right.
And then you have all these restaurants and bars that are paying. I mean, I have to say, in a way, they kind of got gypped because if DirecTV gets all the bars and the restaurants, I mean, a lot of people go to the bars and restaurants, and I'm not gonna lie, like I live in Milwaukee, right? I help with the Lions fan club. And we got like 40, 50 people who go to the bar every week to watch the game because they don't want to pay for it at
My
home.
good.
Now imagine that for like I know other people and other fan clubs in this city, right? So they're doing all the same thing. I mean, we're gonna really truly see the power of this product and see if it's truly all of that in a bag of chips or it's glorified with this move here. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Like, I don't think YouTube TV is going to make their money back on this, and not even close. Right? At the same time, right? Like, I see people coming to YouTube TV, but I don't know if they're going to be coming to YouTube TV. Like you got to get like a crazy amount of people to make that switch for, let's say at $250, right? What's that
Right.
contract? 2.5 billion divided by 4, right?
Okay.
So 2.5 billion divided by 4. That's like 650 million a year. 625 million a year they paid for this thing. Right?
Right.
So take that and divide that by $400. Because essentially, people are paying it was September, October, November, December. Okay,
Right.
January, so 5. So 300 plus that, we'll say $500. What's 625 million divided by 500?
We look that up right now.
Because that's how many accounts are going to need to be bought for them to break even this year, at least for 5 months.
You said 6 point what?
625 million divided by 500.
4, 5, 6, 7 divided by 500, right?
Yep.
That is 12,500.
Oh, it's got to be more than that.
Oh, because I put 6,250,000. Oh, you said million.
Yeah, you got to put 625.
Oh, okay. 625. And how many zeros is that?
That's 6 zeros after 625.
3, 4, 5, 6. All right, it's 1,250,000.
So you need 1,250,000 people to buy the Sunday ticket.
And I don't know how you're gonna pull that off.
I mean, that's pretty lofty goal there. You need that many people. But the thing is this, I'm basing that off of having 5 months of YouTube TV and the ticket. Right? I mean, I just don't know if this is financially feasible. I mean, if you're paying $2.5 billion, you need 1.255. Man.
That's a lot. You have to get subscribers.
There is a lot of people, let me tell you. I mean, that's like boxing. I don't know how many people are going to succumb to this. And it's a new technology that, let me just say this, a lot of older people, to anybody who's like
60s,
50 and up, most likely aren't going to deal with this. I'll say 55 and up, because you know what?
Okay.
I'll say 55 and up, they're not going to probably know what the hell to do. Okay? Anybody 55 and up, anybody 55 and up probably isn't gonna do this. Okay? So then they're gonna have to stick with their local team or something else.
Just like they did with
I mean, it's a new technology medium. I mean, and what happens if you don't have a smart TV? Oh, then you're even more screwed. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I just bought my first smart TV this year. Okay. And I'll admit, why didn't I do that a hell of a lot sooner? But, right? Exactly. But here's the thing, okay? You need 1.25 million people to buy this. To break even. That's essentially 5 months of NFL season on at $65 a month for YouTube TV, right? That's $325 plus the ticket. So hold on, let me add this up. 325 and 340. Hold on. Actually, that total might be a little less, Sean. Let's figure this out. 65 times 5 is 325. Let's say plus 5 months of the ticket at what, 349? So that's 674. Okay, do me a favor. We're going to redo the math. Take 625 million, Take 625 million and divide it by 674. Because you figure if you got YouTube TV, you're going to have it for 5 months. Because you need it for September, October, November, and December, and January.
And you said
to get through the rest of the season.
So you said 625 million divided by what number?
674.
Okay. 927,299.703264.
Okay. So you need 920. You need that number to pretty much in new customers.
Right.
Combined with, you need 927,000 new customers plus 927,000 buys of the Sunday ticket. That's what you would need to break even on that.
Right. And we're talking
They
about
need to generate 900 and what is that number, Sean?
927,299.703264.
Okay, so 927,000, what was it? 199?
299.
So 300, let's round it. 927, 300. So you need 927,300 new customers and 927,300 buys of this product to break even. Do you think it's doable? I mean, pay-per-views get 900,000. You think it's doable, Sean? 927,300.
It's possible.
I mean, that's about 3% of the. I would say this: America's got what, 350 million people. Out of that, we'll say 130 million are probably 25 to 60.
You see that,
right?
Right.
So, let's say if you can get one out of every. If you can get a 1 out of every 100 to buy, then you're probably good. It's probably doable. I think they, you know what?
What's that?
105 months. If they can get a million, let's say a million new customers, that means new, with a million buys of this product, they will make a profit. I don't know what DirecTV numbers were for non-free purchases of this product. That doesn't include the bars. I'm just talking individual houses.
Right.
I would probably like to know. I don't know if that statistic is out there somewhere. How many people bought DirecTV Sunday ticket in 2022? I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
That's what I'm looking at on my phone right now.
But if you had a million people who bought that, and not like a million people who had it, I mean a million people who bought it. Because, as I said, I got DirecTV Sunday ticket for the last 5 years for free. So, if I get it for free, you know, I don't think YouTube is giving it away for free anytime soon.
Maybe like a free preview or something like that.
Well, you might get the first week for free and like the 8th week for free. But you ain't getting, you might get 2 weeks for free on YouTube. That's it.
Let me see. I think I found it.
I mean, how
think
many
that's
people had Sunday tickets, Sean?
It was 2.4 million DirecTV subscribers certified an NFL Sunday ticket.
Okay, well, 2.4 million. Well, let me just put it to you like this.
Okay.
2.4 million. How many of those probably got it for free? Or, that includes new customers who are giving it for free and people like myself who are longtime customers got it for free. How many of those got it for free out of that 2.4 million?
They didn't say that part.
That's what you got to know. Out of that 2.4 million, how many got it gifted or it was, or thrown in as part of the package? And how many people succumbed and paid for it? Now, I know plenty of people who paid for it because, it is what it is. And who like to flaunt it? Like, I paid for it, and well, hey, cool. You know what? I preferred free 99 and to have it the same way you do.
Right. And most of the time I watch NFL Sunday Red Zone from 1 to 4. Especially me playing fantasy football, of course.
So, I mean, you got to ask yourself here, out of that 2.4 million, how many were comped? We'll say comped. Okay?
Okay. That's a typical way to say
Comped,
it.
free, whatever. If they gave away 1 million of those for free, I'd like to know how many customers new customers DirecTV had in 2022. 2022.
Well, let me
How
ask that.
many new customers did they get?
How
Because
many new customers did DirecTV have for NFL Sunday ticket in 2022?
that is the question. Because it's you got to think how many people got comped.
Well, it doesn't say anything about that. So that information is not around now.
I mean, those would be the numbers I would want to know. I mean,
Pretty sure of that.
you gotta think that number that we just talked about, 927,300.
300. Yeah.
That is your goal. If you're
Google.
YouTube TV, that's your goal. 927,300 new customers with 927,300 Sunday ticket buys. If you have that combination, you're all good.
Right.
I mean, obviously, they're going to have new customers that do not buy Sunday ticket, and they're going to probably have some people who buy Sunday ticket, but without YouTube TV, because you can do that.
Right. You can get a Fire Stick to do that.
I don't see a lot of people doing it that way. Okay?
It's more likely they'll use a Fire Stick.
I mean, if you're gonna have a cable provider, you might as well get YouTube TV and save yourself $100 to $200. I mean, it's good that they came out with this now.
And we're not too far away from the NFL draft, so it is the right time to even announce it if you think about it.
Well, yeah, of course it's the right time to announce it because you're, like 16 days from the draft. You're basically a month away from the schedule release.
Right, I'm waiting for. Everybody is.
You know, I
That's
mean,
Christmas.
speaking of the schedule release, that's supposed to happen on May 12th, right?
Okay. That's a month.
Now, I got to bring this up since we're
Sure.
talking schedule release. The Jets Packers trade has to be done by like that release.
Okay.
There's no way the league is releasing a schedule not knowing if Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet,
Yeah. Right.
because that will probably affect how many primetime games the Jets get and how many primetime games the Packers get,
Yeah, exactly.
and those matchups. I mean, at this point, right, the league is probably in the process of constructing two different schedules. A schedule with the Packers with Rodgers and one without.
I can see that.
That's what's happening right now. You know, they got that AXS computer. You know, I don't know. Have you ever seen the documentary on how they make the schedule,
No.
Sean? You can
No,
probably
I'm not.
find it on YouTube or something. But they show you how they make the schedule. It's about like it's only, it's like 25 minutes long, and shows you the people and the process and how they figure it out and narrow it down. You
All that
know,
type of stuff.
that's
Okay.
another reason why, the draft is another reason why they pushed the schedule release from early April to early March to early May now, is because of the draft. What happens when people get traded and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
You
That also
know?
plays a factor.
So that's the reason why they pushed the schedule release back. So, I mean, do you think the league is going to sit there and be like, yeah, we're going to give the Packers all these primetime matchups, and then boom, Aaron gets dealt?
That would be a
No,
bad look
that's
on
not
them.
going to happen.
That's a bad.
Okay?
That'd be a bad look.
Exactly. It's not going to happen. So, the league, if that trade isn't made by the draft, I think the league is going to step in and try to get these two teams to get this thing done before the schedule release.
Right. Get it done or like a day or two before the draft.
Now, on the other hand,
Sure.
okay, the Packers are probably still trying to get whatever the hell they can get out of the Jets on this. Okay? The problem is everybody and their mama knows, okay,
Okay.
that the Packers want to get rid of this guy. That they don't want to take this $60 million cap hit or whatever the hell it is. Okay? $50 million cap hit. They don't want to do it. So, at this point, the Jets know that. What other team is going to take Aaron Rodgers with this cap hit? There's rumors that the 49ers are going to do it. And the 49ers got Brock Purdy. They got Trey Lance. Okay?
Right.
And, dude, they spent all of this money to upgrade their defense. They just signed Yannick Noah. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they did. Okay?
Okay.
So, at this point, I don't think they got any cap space to do it.
That's impossible.
I mean, the Ravens are the only team I can see doing it. But, dude, right now, unless they're going to trade Lamar,
right. Since you got
they got to be able to trade Lamar. I mean, you could trade him to the Colts and then get Rodgers.
And they'll be number one. They'll be AFC North contenders.
I mean, that's really the problem with Lamar Jackson is no team wants to do the dirty work for the Ravens, just for the Ravens to sign him and keep him.
And
right?
has no agent. Let's not forget about that.
And the league doesn't allow poison pills in the contract anymore. Like, if you play so many games in the state of Minnesota, then you get this. Like, for instance, the Seahawks put something in the contract for Steve Hutchinson back in the day. If you play so many games in Minnesota, you get this in your contract. Well, you know what? So the Seahawks retaliated when they signed Nate Burleson. If you play so many games in the state of Washington, then this happens, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you can't do that anymore. The league doesn't allow it. And there's certain other things that the league doesn't allow either. Plus, then you got to give up 2 firsts if you want to do it. Now, people will say, well, Curtis Martin signed a transition tag and it cost, the Jets a first-round pick. Yeah, they did. But there was also a poison pill caveat in that. So, it kind of worked out because, Belichick and Parcells, they had that bitter rivalry thing going on. But the league don't really deal with that anymore. I mean, Lamar's he can either sit out or he can suck it up and sign that contract. See, if I was Lamar, I'd be like, listen, I'll sign the damn thing, but I'm only going to sign it if you guarantee me not to franchise me next year. Now, the Ravens could tell him to go to hell on that, have him sign it, and then they could franchise him next year for about $40 million. Or Lamar could just say, screw it, I'll sit out this season and lose $32 million. But then you lose the service time. And I don't know what happens next year if that happens. Would he be relegated to $32 million again? I mean, if I was him, I'll be honest with you, this is what I would do. I'd sign a 2-year contract for like $90 million. Maybe a little less, $88 million. $2 million, $88 million. Okay? Get it fully guaranteed by the Ravens and have a kicker put in there that no franchise tag can be applied after the 2 years. That way, when he's done with that contract, he'll have made $88 million before taxes. And he can't be franchised, and he'll only be 28 years old.
Right.
He can easily go out there and get another contract. I know he doesn't want to pay like the 10% agent fees, but man, he's getting taken to town. But that's his own doing. Right. He didn't want to get an agent, and he wanted to extend this out for as long as possible. And rumor has it the Ravens offered him $49 million a year.
He turned it down.
Before last season started, and he turned it down. Now I don't know how much of that was guaranteed. Okay, but the point is this: you should have had all that. You should have had, if you're smart, you should have everything on the back end guaranteed and the front end not guaranteed. That way, if you play through it early on, it's not guaranteed. Got to be smart how you handle these contract negotiations and
all that other great stuff. UFC 287, that title fight, the middleweight fight, Israel Asada won his belt back.
the style, but hey, I didn't think he was going to do it.
That was a shocker.
Hey, let me say this, right?
Sure.
That KO was brutal. But let me say this, that fight was very competitive. Up until that point, that fight was very competitive. I mean, I probably had it 1-1 right before the knockout. Now, he said during his post-fight interview that he was playing possum, and then boom. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but let me say this. Pereira was going at him like he had him hurt, okay?
Right.
And I don't think he was expecting it, okay? Or let me say this. There was no respect on his end throwing those punches at the style bender before he got KO'd. He was thinking about he was going to get the KO right there. Right? And he had no respect for what was coming. He was just throwing haymakers and bombs, and dude was all covered up, and then boom, Duke came out and boom, let Thor's hammer out at him, and boom,
that was
Yahtzee. It was game, set, match. I mean, it was like Thanos snapping his fingers and turned Pereira to Cheetos dust. I mean, it was, you just see that dust just, I mean,
real quick.
You know what I'm saying? It just was like, boom. Like, right. And he was like, real damn. Quick. Real quick. I mean, it was crazy. Now that fight has happened, let me say this. I think you'll see a trilogy fight, or the fifth fight if you want to see it. You're going to get it. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to have to wait about like a year, 18 months, maybe 2 years.
Okay.
And then you'll get it, because they're going to milk this. You can't just have them fight each other again, boom, boom, for the third time, okay?
Exactly.
The UFC's going to milk this and let them face another guy here for a little bit, okay? Now, the interesting guy in that division right now is the South African. Plasig.
I think I say his name.
He's a white dude from South Africa, very talented. There was like a YouTube video on him a couple years ago. Some dude was talking smack to him.
The Plusis?
Yep. Some dude was talking smack to him, insulted him and his girlfriend. Dude went out and just murked the dude in like a round.
He's like 19-2. Yeah, he's 19-2.
Yeah, he's pretty good, man. He's pretty talented.
Right. He's an orthodox. I'm looking at it. He fights middleweight and welterweight.
Yeah, so this guy, he's an interesting prospect. Young, skilled. Anyway, Stylebender said he wanted to drag his South African carcass around when they fought, if they fight. So right. I find that pretty interesting to see what's going to happen.
Right, because I'm looking at his previous 5 fights, because his previous fights were either TKO or knockout and submission, of course.
So I mean, there's talent in that division. It
Especially the
ain't just
middleweight class.
it ain't just those two. You know, I
Yeah,
mean, we'll
middleweight
see.
still.
I mean, it's still talented. It is. Now,
Go ahead,
the Masters happened this weekend.
John
And
Ram
hey,
won his first Masters.
yeah, okay, Chris and you were correct. You know, he stuck through it. Brooks Koepka folded on Sunday. Man, dude, basically, he just straight up folded Sunday, man. He pretty
After
much
lifting,
Hey, he earned the Greg Norman Award for Masters choke.
yeah, I
Um,
remember that '96.
Man, let me tell you. Phil Mickelson finishing tied for second. My goodness. Lefty.
Yeah, that was a shocker
Lefty
card.
with his best round ever at Augusta. Wow. I mean, how much
Amazing.
did the weather affect these golfers during the weekend? I mean, Sunday was kind of melancholy besides Koepka and Mickelson. I mean, it seemed like everybody just kind of held the norm Sunday besides those two. I mean, John, everybody kind of seemed to be pretty basic on Sunday, besides Brooks Koepka folding and Mickelson shooting the round of his Masters life. I mean, it just seemed like that. It just seemed like once they called the rounds on Saturday and had to play 30 on Sunday, that
Right.
was it. You know?
And they actually had some great ratings, by the way, because the 2 rounds generated 16.3 viewers for CBS, which is like the most watched since 2018. So that's not bad.
And then the sad thing is I mean, Tiger couldn't even finish, man.
Yeah, kind of
I mean,
disappointed.
if this is happening to this guy now, and he's mid to late 40s, right? I think he's
Right,
my age, right? I
right.
mean, what's it going to be like on this dude 10 years from now?
It's not
I
going to be looking
mean,
good.
is he ever going to be able to play a full Masters again? I mean, given Augusta's a pretty damn hilly course, right?
Right.
And, you know, I mean, if you go to these other majors, right? The British can be pretty damn hilly. And US Open's pretty hilly. I don't know if this dude's ever going to be able to play a full 4 rounds again, golf again at a huge major.
And barely made the cut.
I mean, it's impressive that he made the cut, okay? Considering his injuries and everything, hey, I'll give him for him
Prospect.
making the cut. Okay, cool. For him to make it through a full 4 days, I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Happened
I
again. That's
mean,
probably the last time we ever seen.
I don't know if that dude's ever going to play a full 4 again. I just don't know. And the sad thing about golf is they don't let you use carts out there, folks. So,
Oh,
I mean, if there were carts and you could ride in carts, I mean, man, if you had a true medical exception, like this dude probably has, and a couple other guys, I mean, it would be nice. But you know what? The game don't allow it. Okay. Imagine if there was a one-legged golfer out there right? Was it like an artificial limb or something? Think they'd
Mm-hmm.
make that full walk the full 72? Damn straight they would. Even if you was missing a leg. Yes, they would. Even if you was missing a leg, they'd make that individual walk a full 72. Half a leg and all. I mean, it's crazy to think about it, but it is what it is.
And you were going to talk about the LeBron James crybaby fans and the French players.
Well, let me just go ahead and say this. Last week I said that the Lakers were going to beat the Clippers, and you know what? I was wrong. But you know what?
Right.
There's only one reason why I said it. It's because I think the league is somewhat rigged sometimes, and they wanted to get the Lakers into the playoffs to avoid the play-in game. That's the only reason why the Lakers forced those guys to play back-to-back, because they had to beat the Clippers to get into the playoffs. Right? And they hadn't beat the Clippers in like 11 straight games. So you're thinking, these guys are going to play tonight. It's all set up for a miracle to happen. It's in LA too, Right. Well, let me tell you something. The Clippers handled business. Thank God. And
well rested.
And LeBron after the game crying about, it's the scheduling conflict. That's why we didn't win. And, let me tell you something. The Clippers had the most back-to-backs in the league this year. Okay? First off. Second off, anybody want to guess who had the least amount of back-to-back games this year?
Lakers.
Wow, Sean, you're amazing. You are a prognosticator of prognosticators. Because let me tell you, it is the Lakers. The Lakers had the least amount of back-to-back games, much less this back-to-back game was in LA. On basically their home stadium. The only difference was the color of their jerseys and that the floor was a Clippers floor.
Right.
Other than that, they were home. Okay, they were home. So the crybaby whining can stop. Okay? Dude, they've had so many advantages this season. It's just unbelievable how many advantages that team's been given. Yes, they've played better ball the second half of the season. Granted, I don't really think the West. If you took these teams and put them in the East, they'd probably be a 47-win team in the East. Maybe better. I don't think the East is all that good after the top three teams. After you get past Boston, Philly, and Milwaukee, the East is not good.
At all.
Seriously. You could take the Lakers, and if you put them in the East, they'd be the fourth best team. Yeah, probably the fourth best team. But they're in the West. Exactly. And it's tough in the West. Right. But to hear LeBron cry about a scheduling conflict.
That's ridiculous.
Dude, you had the least amount of back-to-backs in the league this year. Cry me a damn river. Now, speaking of setups, dude, the Lakers and Timberwolves play each other, tonight?
Yes, tonight, 10:30.
How convenient that Rudy Gobert decides to be a sissy French frog and throw a punch at a teammate and get suspended for this play-in game. Wow. How convenient. How amazing. Oh, look, it's against the Lakers. Let's just give them another advantage.
Unbelievable.
I mean, dude, he didn't punch somebody on the other team.
He punched his own
Dude,
teammate.
it's the playoffs. Play him and enforce it next season. You could have sat him out like the first game of next season. Or you could have said, man, weak. I don't think Draymond Green got suspended, did he, when he hit Jordan Poole, did he?
Not that I'm aware of.
Man, the Timberwolves are a joke. That's what they get for trading 4 first-round picks, a swap, and a whole bunch of players for him.
That's the Timber Fools for you.
That's what they deserve.
That's why they're called the Timber Fools.
Yeah, they are the Timber Fools. No lie about that. Timber Fools.
They only made it to the Western Conference Finals once in their franchise.
Well, it's going to be a long time before that happens again.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think did they make it? They didn't make it with Marbury there, did they? Was KG there? Yeah, KG was there.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin Garnett. Yeah. Because
KG was there, but I think Marbury was already gone by then.
Right. You said Latrell Sprewell, right?
Yeah, with him and $7 million a year wasn't enough to feed his family.
Right. Let me look at his stats. He went to the Vikings, Timberwolves once in the playoffs. Everything else was Golden State in New York.
Yeah, $7 million a year wasn't enough to feed the fam.
And had some off-field issues. Let's not forget about that.
Well, don't forget about the bankruptcy.
Yeah. And I could say the same thing for Steph Curry.
Just throwing it out there, Sean. $7 million a year isn't enough to feed the fam. Just saying. I wish I could say that. Yeah, that's not enough to feed the fam.
Right.
Man, what are you feeding them? Caviar and man, $10,000 golden cheeseburgers. I mean,
speaking of that, cheeseburger.
Man, speaking of, it's almost like Chris Rock and I'm going to get you sucker. How much for a sip? How much for a rib?
Oh, oh yeah, $1, something like that.
Yeah, well, how much for a sip? I mean, it just makes me think of Latrell. $7 million enough to feed the fam.
Right. And looking at Stephon Marbury, he played for the Timberwolves in the playoffs twice. Because he was first round exit, except for when he was with the Boston Celtics. That was the only time he advanced to the first round with the Celtics.
Well, it happens.
Right. Same thing I can say with Tracy McGrady.
Well, we all fold sometimes, and sometimes we just can't accomplish the things in life that we want to accomplish. And it's a sad travesty. Whether it's
Barry Bonds?
What was that?
I was like, can I say the same thing for Barry Bonds?
Bonds never won the World Series, did he?
No.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
I mean, he made it, but he didn't win it.
Well, the Giants beat the Tigers in what, 2012?
2010 and 2012.
Was Bonds on those teams?
No. When the Giants was winning the World Series, Barry Bonds was not on the team anymore.
Man, well, it's here.
Because let me look. Because I think his last season was 2007.
Man, ain't that a damn shame? Let me
Because that was
tell
the
you,
year
he
he
what?
broke.
Hey, let me say this: roids or no roids, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Without them, he could have gone to the Hall of Fame and been easily a 500 homer guy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and a 500 steal guy. I think he could have been a 500 guy without the roids and all that other whatever stuff, whatever PED he was on, flaxseed oil, whatever. Okay,
Okay.
but with him on the juice, my goodness. I mean,
You could tell.
I mean, dude was just another planet. You know, I mean, teams just walking them with the bases loaded rather than risking
Pitching to him.
it. The amount of walks.
That's a great question. How many walks did Barry Bonds had?
He had like 100 and something walks.
How many walks did Barry Bonds had?
I mean, he probably had like 150 walks, I'll say,
Okay.
in one season.
2,558. Oh, he's in the season? So total is 2,558. Ricky Henderson was 2,190.
Yeah, but Ricky Anderson played longer, but he was a leadoff hitter too. But Ricky was just an amazing batsman. A lot of these walks with Barry Bonds were done out of fear. What's the most walks Barry Bonds had in a season? Probably like I'll say 176.
Let me ask Google that.
Who's got the most walks in a season in baseball history?
Who got the most walks in baseball in a season? Single season leader for baseballs, Barry Bonds with 232, 2004.
He was walked 232 times in 2004.
Right. In 2002 was 198.
Jeez. That's insane.
Right.
232 times.
Right.
I would be willing to bet like at least 50 of those were intentional. 232, that's like 1/3 of your at bats. More than that. 40% of your at bats when you come to the plate, that's like, dude, think of it like this, right? There's 162 games in a season. Let's say you get to the plate 4 times.
Okay.
That's like 628 times you're going to make it to the plate during a season. Okay?
Okay.
And you got walked 232 times. How many at-bats did he have that year? And how many homers did he have?
What year?
So what year he had 232 walks?
Oh, 2004. 2004.
Yeah, what's his 2004 stats? How many homers? How many hits? How much? I'd like to know what his average was and how many homers he had.
I am looking it up right now. 2004, he had, I'm looking at it, RBIs 101, hits 135. It should tell me the home runs. How many home runs did Barry Bonds had in 2004?
I mean, it's crazy,
45.
Sean. That's dude. 1/3 of his hits were homers, and then he got walked another 232 times. 1/3 of his hits were home runs, Sean.
Unbelievable.
And out of 135 hits, He probably had what, 400 at bats?
You have to, if you did an estimated, yeah.
Now, the year that he hit 73 homers, what were his stats?
Let me look at that.
Tell me how many walks he had, how many at bats. Just go through it fully before we end the show here.
Okay. All right. So 2001, Barry played 153 games, meaning that he managed to hit 73 home runs in less than a full season.
Jeez.
So 2001, he hit 73 home runs in 664 plate appearances. So that means Bond hit a home run 1 out of 9 plate appearances.
Okay, how many walks did he have?
Walks in 2001. How many walks did Barry Bonds had in 2001? 177 times.
So how many plate appearances did he have? 674?
Yep.
Minus the walks, we're at what? 500. We're like at 400. Well, you're at like 500 base plate appearances. Take away the walks, right?
Right.
So he hit a homer about 1 out of every 7 times he was allowed to hit.
Right.
Not including the walks.
I remember
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
1 out of 7 was a homer. How many hits did he have?
How many hits did Barry Bonds had in 2001? 73.
Well, I know how many homers he hit. How many? Well, what's the full stat line? If you looked at the full stat line, tell me what the average is, the hits, the homers.
What was Barry Bonds' stat in 2001?
I mean, how many homers did he hit? What was the batting average? You know how many walks he had?
All right. So 2001, 476 at bat. Runs
400. You said 476 at bats.
Right. That's 2001.
Jeez.
Yeah. Runs was like 129. Hits were 156. RBI was 137. Based on balls was 177.
Jeez. That's that line. What was the OPS? Had to be over 1,000.
OPS.
OPS.
Let me look that up. OPS. 1,051.
Jeez. Good Lord.
Yeah, good heavens.
Okay, on that note,
well,
that's today's show.
Right.
Brought to you in part by Barry Bonds and PEDs.
Exactly. And thanks to our sponsors, No House Advantage. So we'll do a player prop on Thursday's show because I'll do one for tomorrow for the play-in tournament. So stay tuned for that.
Lebron. Wonderful.
Exactly. All right. So we will end the show. Guys, have a nice and wonderful day. Enjoy the.
Yep, you too, Sean. We'll see you on Thursday. Yep.